and for radio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Dice Before Dishonor. The heroes find themselves standing outside the palace. The palace in Opera. Romeo Casti seems a little nervous, though he'll deny it, pacing back and forth. Gentlemen, you notice there are no walls surrounding the palace. Situated in the heart of the city of Opera itself, a grand courtyard on all four sides, completely filled with the Taldor phalanx, their shield and spear soldiers on foot, and the Taldor horse, which is what is labeled their cavalry. Run drills, constantly move about the perimeter, and, as it were, have that open for spectation and come visit, but still very, very, very secure foundation. A guard approaches. Romeo shows his credentials, his invitation, as he mentioned in the last episode he had prepared for the entire party. You ride to sort of a guest area, you could say. Dismount. Professional grooms take care of your horses for a certain amount of coin.
Do I have to dismount?
I really don't think you're allowed to take a wolf into court.
But I had him permed.
Can I have a knowledge local, Matt?
You certainly can.
Sorry, Sir Winston.
19.
Nice. Romeo Casti claims that we are not going to see the Grand Prince Stavian himself, Grand Prince Stavian III. He has actually garnered an audience with the man's daughter. He had two children, a son who died in a terrible, tragic accident, and his daughter, who is currently trying to get the Senate to vote on what they call a primogeniture, which basically means a male heir can inherit the throne, not a female heir, and her being the only princess and trying to prove that she's the future of Taldor is trying to have this law changed. So in the past few months, there has been a lot of political intrigue floating around, a lot of rumors. Those naysayers trying to dig up anything on the princess, making this role relevant. She has a love of dogs and has two pets that she likes to keep and actually bring to court. Now, she won't actually bring them into the room, but they are about, and a lot of nobles look down their nose at this sort of, having these beasts around. So imagine the reaction at court that a halfling who is viewed as a servant class, who has elevated himself to semi-nobility, is riding an actual wolf.
Fair enough.
Now, commercialized, branded at the arena, Barkley is a superstar. But society allows what society allows, and they won't even allow you to keep the wolf at the stable. You have to make your own arrangements for Barkley.
Oh, well then I suppose I should do that.
I'll even allow you to retract saying that you had.
Certainly.
Because this knowledge would come apparent to you, when we guys all get up, hang out at the parlor, shave, shower, and head off to beat Romeo, you know what I mean? So today, Sir Barkley is plodding along on foot.
How far is this damn place? That was after like the first 10 feet. Sorry, guys, you're going to be moving pretty slow.
Yeah, as soon as you guys step into the courtyard. There isn't even stairs, man.
Completely sweat through my finery. My frills are all drooped.
Does anyone have anything to say to Winston?
Anything? These guys just like, man, I fucking hate this guy
we don't
so
know him.
much.
Just hate
this guy.
They just leave him behind.
If we ignore him, maybe he'll go away.
This is where the noble hits the road.
His entire charismatic presence was based on the wolf. With Barkley there, he's the man. You remove the wolf, it's just this fat, annoying halfling that's out of shape.
As he starts to stroll up, oh, Sir Winston, it seems the better half of you has decided to make it today. I trust the walk from the grounds wasn't too much for your short legs. Here, and I'll offer up like a small pocket flask, a refreshment before we head in.
You truly are a prince amongst men.
Quaffs the whole thing back.
Yeah, knocks it back like it's lemonade.
Easy there.
I take the empty container back.
Oh, and I'm super hungover too.
Winston,
right?
how much did you drink last night? Surely you need to learn to control your intake.
Do you ever know me to stop, Bartholomew?
He has put himself back together, though the bags under his eyes, betray his comment. However, pristine, practically gleaming in military fashion, stands Sir Bartholomew with his jutting comments. You guys looking him over as he sort of critiques Winston's state. There's not a hair, a speck of dust, anything out of place in the man's uniform or stature. He is standing at the front door of the palace itself, and you know it.
In other words, I'm bawling.
Like a baller.
You're balding? I'm sorry.
Balding. Yes, he's balding.
It's the half-orc side of the family.
Not a single hair out of place, because he has none.
Arriving late, but not too late, since Romeo seems in no rush to, storm the gates. Leon rides up, gives faithful Makaie over to the stable, and joins the group.
Oh, Winston. One moment, please. Romeo, you wouldn't happen to have the outfit that you had procured for me still on you, would you? I think Winston could use it.
I had actually come to think of it. The man was so distracted in his pacing, you guys showed up and he barely acknowledged you. Now he seems to lick each one of you over. No, this won't do at all. What happened to the courtier's outfit I sent to the parlor? You gentlemen were supposed to be dressed and ready over an hour ago. We're already running somewhat late. Though court really doesn't start for another hour, though, but that's besides the point. This won't do. Noticing how the sweat patches have appeared under Winston's armpits, how our samurai is still is clean and impeccable, but still in his armor. The only two really dressed for the occasion are Sir Bartholomew in a military outfit, which still can't pass for courtier outfit here at the...
I don't know about if I'm still in my armor. As far as I know, I changed it home.
Oh, okay.
I'm not in the courtier's outfit, though.
No, I know. We're getting to that. I was just setting you up for that. The only two that are dressed in in what Romeo might consider passable clothing is Frank in his usual garb, minus the armor, being a high nobleman. Sir Bartholomew, wearing his family attire, which has a distinct military uniform cut to the jib. Winston has sweat through his fancy clothes. And then coming down the line, are those... Well, it's not your armor, he says to Leon. Are those pajamas? Not understanding the ensemble of your Makaie traditional robes.
These are a highly formal form of attire to my culture.
Are you not even wearing boots? He looks down at your impeccably white socks and sandals.
Yes, pajamas.
Why would I wear boots inside? Do you want to track the outdoors into this pristine castle?
Oh, the man just seems exasperated. Never mind. It'll have to do. You are sort of my guests and entourage and considered my, attendant. It's fine. Bartholomew, he leans in, a stage whisper. Make sure you stand in front of him, won't you? It'll be fine. Now, secure your horses, gentlemen. You already have. Oh, you have. Right. Well, shall we? And he kind of just sort of straightens himself up and heads in, continuing to mutter to himself, "Your esteemed highness, your esteemed princess, your esteemed highness," just, going over his polish, and kind of leaves you guys behind. For someone that wants to be a nobleman, he's considerably, I wouldn't say out of practice.
Unnoble?
No. Let's just say that now that we're sort of ground zero on the real deal, he seems rather jilted.
He seems very common.
No, he's got style. He has impeccable manners, and he does have flair. And even though you guys are thrilled to be here, or probably nervous yourselves, each of you have enough of a background or enough of, imagine thousands of people at arena cheering on Winston and Barclay. He's used to like attention, military soldiers marching around looking Bartholomew over with scrutiny. He just dismisses it. He's used to the lifestyle. Leon is always used to standing out no matter where he goes because of who he is, and is completely used to it. And Sir Gildevarth, you've actually been at court before. Your father brought you here when you were young, presented you to society when you came of age, not a couple of years ago.
It was a minor get together, really. Nothing to mention.
Yeah, you and a whole line of noble boys. No, announcing this person. And everybody nods. We know you. There you go. We recognize your face. It's not like they have a noble Facebook going, let's look up this guy. Anyway, gentlemen.
Bartholomew, Winston, I think it best that we stick together as close as we can. It seems Gildevarth is much more comfortable here than we are.
Indeed, indeed.
Seems akin to remind me as a fish out of water. Leon, where did you disappear to last night? I saw you with those 2 tavern women.
I really hope you didn't tell anyone about that.
No, but I do want stories. Later. Wow!
The scene pulls out after that happy smack on Leon's back, spurring the gentlemen into motion, who hasten their steps to catch up with Romeo at the main entrance. A short time later, you find yourselves knee-deep in wine, finery, nobles, senators, particular movers and shakers, people of note, have gathered at court. This ancient and grand palace is decorated with ornate arches of patterned stone. Robed greeters bow as the building's massive iron doors swing open. Light illuminating the hall through dozens of windows in the ceiling. Shining panels of gold decorate the marble walls. So it's much more grandeur than you'd see here on the map. You guys arrive before the official proceedings begin, so you guys get a chance to run around and hobnob. Romeo has been announced and is now sort of making the rounds, checking his sort of status with everyone, leaving you guys like wallflowers practically at the door. Surveying the room, you gentlemen notice actually several people of note and people that may interest you. Can I have perception checks, please?
Yes, you may.
Winston sees very little with a perception check of 5.
Perception 20?
Which makes sense. I'm so short I probably can't see past all the furniture.
Yeah, everyone's blocking you.
And Gildevarth got a 5.
Bartholomew got a perception check of 10.
I'm busy pulling the handkerchief out that's got a small dose of perfume on it, kind of covering my nose.
Okay.
As Bartholomew gets closer.
You're trying to look like a genteel man?
Oh, good lord. It seems the walk from the stables was a long one.
Okay.
Bartholomew's going to take my kerchief again.
My kerchief.
Gentlemen, it's been several episodes since a freeze-frame photographic description was taken of you way back in early episodes as you walked through the parlor door, describing you and your finery, your armors, and your mounts. Today, not a civilian, but certainly not an adventurous, heavily armed and armored occasion, would you describe your courtier's outfit, your finery, your formal attire, head to toe, starting with Lord Gildevarth himself, as you enter the main hall of court?
He's got kind of a sash across the front there that's got his house symbol, which is the House Blackwater. It's a kind of a rooted, leafless tree over a cave with a river running in the background, a couple of lions flanking it. But other than that, I mean, he's wearing a noble's outfit. It's very clean cut. Looks good. Expensive.
Colors?
The colors would be kind of not a royal blue, but, just a...
So you're a summer?
A summer, yeah.
You're a summer, you're that color scheme, right?
Some russets, a little bit of silvers mixed in.
Okay. Fresh wax on the beard and the trim and everything. And
yes,
okay.
Purple is the straight man's pink. So.
Yep. Being a lord, you are allowed to carry a weapon for honor, like a sword at your hip or whatever, but you're certainly not allowed to be like bristling with it and look armed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so and now that he's here in court, he's got his his best finery on. The traditional weapon of his family is the longsword, like many, cavalierish families. So his weapon is filigreed in a dark wood scabbard that's got, a gold embroidery on it that's belted across his waist. He's got a small dagger tucked into the hip, flanking it. He seems very comfortable in this kind of environment.
Now, your traditional outfit, as you like to roam around the city in your armor, draws attention to your shield, which bears the holy symbol of Sarenrae, which up until very, very, very recently, in some contradicting things like reading Echoes of Taldor versus reading Modern Wiki, had been outlawed. And what I can garner is a shrine, not a temple, has recently appeared again to sort of nudge the populace that the government has allowed Sarenrae's worship back in the city, but it is certainly still frowned upon after so many years of them being the scapegoat for the Elven Tongue War. I mean, you guys were at war with Kadira for over 500 years, and Zimmar on the border that you guys crossed where that pirate corsair came out of is the most fortified city in all of Taldor, constantly keeping watch. So you walking in here with this isn't a scandal anymore, but it's certainly a statement.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what made him a black sheep of his family. I mean, there were some events in his background that, brought Sarenrae up to the forefront for him. And in response to that, his family kind of went, well, if we push you kind of out of the holdings to Opera, maybe the citizenry, the
peer pressure?
oh,
no, we don't worship her here.
Exactly. The peer pressure will kind of muddy those faith waters.
And has it?
No, not really.
No? Made you resolute? Actually, you just studied abroad, technically, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, he's not worldly by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, but he recognizes other gods, but Sarenrae is still kind of his core belief.
Okay. So, shield across the back?
If he's allowed to wear a shield, yeah, he would have it slung across his back.
Actually, sorry, that would be considered armor and really not needed here in your finery.
Okay.
But
then it's probably the horse, with Vicky, the oddly intelligent horse.
Yes. Yeah, just wearing it proudly against the other Taldarian horses, right? What? That's right. We roll with Sarenrae. All right. Sorry to bring that up just to suddenly realize that, nobleman won't be walking around in court with a big shield on his back.
Big, heavy shield slung. He's all, hey, what's up, bitches?
Yes. Beside him, we have Sir Bartholomew, who comes from a militant family, and West Hill, which is sort of a West Point in the city, is certainly a place not strange to Sir Bartholomew. Your finest attire, family style, militant style, which I've hinted at. What is your sort of unarmored look in its finery, a courtier's outfit?
My unarmored look is armored.
Okay.
Generally, in a noble scenario.
Now, parade armor is allowed.
Yes. So essentially, that's what I'm wearing is. It's basically your general noble felt attire, but he has a decorative breastplate that's enameled white, but it has a white shield embossed on the front of it, and has a gauntlet fist coming over the top and the two bottom sides of it, making like an upside down Y out of fists. And each fist is holding a different weapon, ranging from a sword, an axe, and a lance.
Cool. So we finally get a peek at the family crest.
Yes.
Awesome. Or the family standard, as it were. All right.
Yes.
All right. Now, you own parade armor. Is this what you wore in the field, or just a different set of parade armor? What were you wearing when we adventured?
Well, what I wore when I was adventuring was scale mail.
Right. Okay. Sorry. So you have a special suit of parade armor, which is acceptable, considered armor, but fancied up. Awesome.
One could say it's almost magical.
All right. Next we have, standing behind Sir Gildervarth, is Sir Winston, using his cape to sort of cover the stains of the armpits in his fashionable attire. Is it bursting at the seams? What are we wearing today, sir?
He is wearing lavender crushed velvet, bursting at the collar point and sleeve, and he's got the big poofy round shoulders and a cloak with the emblem of the Order of the Paw on the back.
Okay.
And it's like a lavender crushed velvet. It's absolutely smashing. I look like a pimp.
Not easily wearing the warmest clothes possible in this, summer heat. Yeah. Which brings us to last but not least, Leon.
Okay.
What are you wearing?
Well, Leon is wearing a black. The most obvious part of his outfit is a black overcoat with 2 white symbols over top of, basically over top of his pecs. If you were to look closer, they look like white dragon heads. Beyond that, his actual outfit itself is, to Westerners, it would indeed look like basically a bathrobe. But there's multiple layers to it. So 2 layers of black bathrobes going down, and then the middle, on the very inside, there's a layer of white. And that goes down to...
Yeah, like a Jedi robe, but it was really like it's the traditional samurai out of armor robe.
Yes, it's made of all silk. So it's a very expensive material, and it looks completely pristine. It looks very strange, but there's no wrinkle anywhere.
What are you wearing for pants? Please tell me you're wearing pants under this pants.
I am indeed wearing pants. At my waist, there's a big, looks like a big sash, but it's a haramaki. It's wrapped around, so it's just keeping everything in tight. And the pants are kind of a gray, almost plaid-ish color, but they go all the way down to the legs, where they kind of pool at the bottom with my white, as you were saying, white socks and wooden sandals.
Okay. Now, foreign ambassadors. And the fact, shall we go, let's do a little history. Gentlemen, not Leon, because he knows this. He's from there. Knowledge history, gentlemen.
Okay.
Knowledge history of 11.
Got a knowledge history of 5. Nice. Samish did, sorry.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
You know nothing, Gildervarth.
I know nothing.
Knowledge history of 10.
Okay, starting with 5. Gildervarth, you are uncertain of the origin. You wonder of the reaction. I mean, Leon is Leon. There are whispers. They're mentioning some distant place that you have heard of. It's called New Opera. For our 10 and 11, yes, you remember New Opera. The very last great expansion war is what founded New Opera, the capital of the newly founded Taldian colony Amanadar of the continent of Tangia. It was rechristened in 7108 IC, which is 4608 in the AR calendar, by the country's founder, General Orpheria Amanadar, who defeated the local warlords who had previously controlled it. Its original Tian name was Kemikobu.
Does my check how many ships went?
With 10? No, don't know. Don't know.
Yeah, okay.
But today's history lesson is, an age ago, New Opera was found, much like the way the British founded Hong Kong on the shores of China, in the center of Tian Sha. New Opera was founded, all the bandits booted out, and to this day still functions as a satellite government to Taldor itself, much to the chagrin of some powerful Tian Sha citizens and movers and shakers there. But we'll get into that later. Or perhaps we already have. Sir Gildervarth, you can't help but notice a familiar face. He is dressed in completely different clothing, but his pale bluish-green skin and wild silver hair unmistakably identify him as Fafal, this young slave that you rescued from the Jarloon River.
Oh.
Fafal is actually speaking in intense conversation and seems to be trying to ingratiate himself with one of the noble ladies. Can I have a knowledge nobility check?
You most certainly can.
From all of us?
Let me just check my...
As people of interest pop up to each one of you, I'm drawing Var's attention.
I got a 20 on my knowledge.
I'm drawing Var's attention because he knows the guy talking to her. This place is full of nobles. You guys could spam right away if you want, but I'm just going to specifically ask as we go around. 20?
I got a 20, yes, sir.
Lady Marilla, the Pathfinder Society faction leader. Rumors abound that Lady Marilla has strong ties, if not the leader, of the Sovereign Court faction. Based right here in Taldor.
Interesting. Now, is it? Is this kind of a conversation with, up until now, was a slave? Is this an unusual act for her, or does she normally kind of associate with the common people?
If he was just a commoner, he would have to be here on someone's invitation, like some of the entourage that are with you. But he doesn't look like he's an attendant. He actually looks like he's dolled himself up in a brand new courtier's outfit that he's got from somewhere, and he's actually engaging her like he's a fellow noble, or at least someone of note. She's mildly smiling him and nodding and listening to his comments, and he's, making his over flamboyant gestures, though they do seem to be having a quiet conversation over one of the divan couches to the side.
Okay, I will kind of slowly gravitate towards them, but not fall into their conversation, but just kind of eavesdrop a bit. Not trying to be stealthy by any stretch of the imagination, but just so if Fafal, bothers to look up, he'll see me and see if that sparks a conversation or includes me in their conversation.
All right.
So I move closer. Eavesdropping.
Speaking of nobility roles, gentlemen, as Lord Varth catches someone that catches his interest and drifts off, may I have a generalistic knowledge nobility to get a lay of the land from everyone?
Having normally been kept to the side by the Vinmark family, I rolled a 4.
Gildevarth, you as well.
All right. Hang on just one second.
5.
11. Yeah, I'm on the ball tonight.
Okay.
I'm just so swept up by the grandeur of this place, having been, accustomed to the out of doors.
Bartholomew is representing with a 17.
All right. A lot of unfamiliar faces, though you do recognize the uniform of the Ulfen Guard, which the Vinmark family, props and preens and selects, and represents the elite guard of Grand Prince Stavian himself. However, we're not here to see Grand Prince Stavian himself, the third, himself, today. Today, we are actually here to see somebody else.
What exactly do we know about Eutropia? I assume she's not here yet.
Okay, so as he's sitting there, I'll kind of point her. That's Eutropia. She's the child of the Prince of Stephian III, the ruler of Taldor. Rumor has it that she intends to inherit the throne upon the death of her father, even though, according to the current laws, that might not be up to snuff with some of the older families.
Who got over 15?
I got a 17. Some Taldan's noble fears that Eutropia's ambitions may lead to a costly civil war. Others believe Eutropia's efforts to make a case for her inheritance to the Senate will eventually succeed, displacing them, and believe that her progressive vision of Taldor that she supports is the best way to shake off centuries of old stagnation.
Leon, you do not recognize the female Ulfen Guard sergeant at arms, who is leaning up against the wall looking a little bored. Sir Winston.
Yes.
Knowledge local? Knowledge nobility? Sorry, knowledge local.
I got a 6 on knowledge local.
Okay. Don't see any fans of the arena.
Darn it.
You do see a side entrance with servants going in and out to the kitchen.
Are there any hot little halfling senoritas?
There are demi-human servants. Yes.
Excellent. Oh, absolutely. Well, refreshments, yes. I would be. At the very least, I would be parched, having dropped quite a few liters of bodily fluid on the 150-meter walk here.
If you wouldn't mind bringing one back for me, it would be appreciated.
So I'll kind of before I take off, I'll kind of lean over towards Leon and give him a little elbow in the kneecap.
Leon, I'm going to go see if I can find myself a drink. I'll be right back.
Kind of walk as he walks away, do the whole nod, wave, and then head for the path of servantry, using my halfling innate stealthiness to blend in my purple pimp suit.
Gildervarth kind of sees him stumble off and then kind of mix into the crowd. And I'll turn to one of the companions there. Was he bringing a platter back?
I believe there are platters already.
I could go for a drink as well.
Winston,
Yes.
a short time later, on your return from the kitchen.
With a pitcher and
Yes.
a stack of 5 or 6 cups on a platter.
Standing in a hallway, just outside the main room of court, a woman in what appears to be a captain's sailor's coat stands quaffing down sort of a private flask and nervously sort of pacing outside the doorway. She sees you approach, mutton chop and, platter in hand, and sort of straightens up and hides that she's drinking.
Fair lady, would you care for a cup?
Offer the platter.
Yes, all right. Don't mind if I do. Certainly not a noble woman. The accent is a bit off.
I'll set the tray on the ground beside, pour myself a cup.
Okay.
Cheers!
Clink.
Reaching up.
Clink. Nervously leans into the room, make sure no one can see you guys. Knocks it back. Ah. And another. Ah. That ain't half bad grog, that ain't. So, what's your story, little man?
Can't stand these events. Far too stuffy. Avoid them at every cost I can, but unfortunately duty called for this one.
I'll bow low and do the whole big grandiose sweep, as well as low as a fat man can go without toppling.
She seems confused. Aren't you some sort of servant dressed up for a theme?
No. But the other servants don't seem to want to serve me. So I just figured I'd skip on back and grab myself a little something. And when you get it yourself, you can always get the good stuff.
She snorts in derisive laughter. I guess so. You blend right in, don't you? Well, I'm sorry I didn't catch your name.
Quite right. Winston, of the Order of the Paw. Pleasure to meet you. And you are?
Captain Safari, privateer, she says with a mock bow, of Zamar.
Oh, Captain, eh?
And I'll do a little kind of like the clap your feet together mock salute.
Well, the pleasure is all mine, Captain.
Mine as well, she says, refilling your cups and clinking again. Nothing wrong with taking the edge off, I suppose?
Not at all. So what brings you to this lovely gathering?
Oh, I don't know. Was invited. Worked my way up the food chain, I suppose. Kind of nervously again, glancing into the room. You don't happen to know what time exactly the princess might arrive?
I'm going to do a little sense motive.
Okay.
I got an 8.
She seems a confident woman.
Right. So I'll kind of just cock my head to the side.
To be honest, I'm not a fan of these sorts of events. Nobles don't treat me very kindly.
Oh, ain't that the truth? Well, you ain't the only uncouth one, you might say, trying very hard not to put the right foot forward, or the left foot forward, as it were. By the time this W.F.T.C and turn yourself about, could lose a lot of reputation. 5 minutes in this place. Doesn't matter how many battles you won.
Indeed. Well, fortunately for me, my reputation matters not.
No?
Barkley, on the other hand.
Have you...
That boy's got an image to maintain.
Barkley? That's your squire? Or is that one of your fellow knights?
He's my best friend. I'll have to introduce you sometime.
Indeed. She says, well, I set sail back for Zemir first thing in the morning after I conclude my business with the princess. But it was a pleasure to meet you, Winston, she says, sort of making a decision on the spot and, popping one back. Well, I suppose there's no use putting things off.
The pleasure's mine, fair maiden.
Do another kind of super mocky, low sweeping bow, and in the process check to see how much is left in the pitcher.
So she steps out, and then she pauses for a moment, Sir Winston, and she, as if spotting someone or making a decision, she says, well. Look who's here. Oh, this is going to be good. And she just kind of like sidesteps along the wall. But she spotted someone or something she didn't, that's certainly piqued her interest.
So all kind of halfling curiosity, of course, to see if I can spot who she's looking at in her eye line. Or I'll even cozy up right beside her. You know, she's sneaking around the wall. I'll do the whole, like, the other head that comes out around the wall. What are you looking at?
All right. So I'll leave you moving along there, but I'm going to have somebody intercede. You know what I mean? Like, and then it gives you a chance to talk to somebody else, but I want to go around the room with some of these guys. So it brings us back to Bartholomew. Sir Bartholomew, your nobility check and once around the room has yielded you little. However, there is a familiar face. Mr. Domicus Rel is head of the academy. You actually see him sitting right next to the throne in a position of honor, waiting for the princess in a advisory capacity, perhaps?
Is this an old teacher?
Oh, it's the academy.
Yeah, he made reference to his academy days like it's military, but it's not. West Lodge is the academy. The academy in Opera is actually a bard university.
Yeah, surprisingly, I know how to shuffle.
But we had him sing.
Oh, it's his old music teacher.
The sound of silence.
The tusks of a pig, but the voice of an angel.
Oh, okay, that's going to take a little bit, but yeah. No, I can totally do that.
Give him the voice from the dude from Disturbed. That's awesome.
But I have to change my posture to fully obtain the voice that's necessary.
So you spot leader of the Kitharodian Academy, a notable bard university in the center of Opera, one Dominicus Rel, a seething demonic man, Dominicus Rel.
Mr. Rel.
Headmaster Rel.
You spot him across the room. He's sitting next to the throne, as I said earlier.
Ages. I never did get to meet him back in my academy days.
That's true. The headmaster did not have a lot of time for everyone. And you did not spend a lot of time at the academy before you left, shall we say?
Well, it was a mutual agreement, to be honest.
Speaking of familiar faces, someone your age that actually was in your class from your West Park days, head of her class, and looking over tonight's Ulfengard, Inca Haldotor is standing in a corner, looking very bored. Of Ulfen descent, proud blonde hair, long and braided.
I wander towards Miss Inca. She's wearing her military garb. Full armor?
Yes, she is She is on duty.
Full plate?
I don't know.
I am attracted to the full plate.
She's armored.
As the moon is attracted to the earth, I get closer. I love a woman in armor.
Okay. You're enamored with the armor.
He raps a knuckle against the breastplate. I, too, am hard.
See, that's where the indifference would drop to extremely unfriendly, and you would need Sir Gildevar for a triple.
I'm actually pretty good at diplomacy.
For the triple threat.
Actually pretty good. I'm not as good as Gildevar.
I wouldn't lead with wrapping your knuckles across a woman's front breastplate as a way of,
See, if I had the talents that Gildevar did, I would. Yeah. If I chose the same things that Gildevar did, yes, I would wrap the boobies. but because I didn't, I might open up with something a little more softer.
Such as?
Tink, tink, tink. Hello, boobies.
It's apparent that the Elfin Guard Inca is present only to keep the venue secure for, future visits from the crown.
I graduated in 3 years. How long did it take you?
She did attend West Park, and she did it in 2.5. One might actually say she's a bit of a rival. Straightens up when she sees you approach. Now, it wasn't like she was slacking off. She just looked really bored. But she recognizes you when you stride over. Catches your wrist when you try to wrap your knuckles off the front of the best strip plate and just kind of throws your hand away. Well, I see you haven't changed.
We never do change. Your armor is still shinier than your sword.
Too bad you didn't stick around. So proud that you graduated in under 3 years. I was a year behind you, but when I got out, I did it in 2.5.
Beating up the instructors helps.
She just nods in agreement. Like, is there any other way? Still, couldn't hold myself against that woman. No one could. She kind of looks sideways, forcing the acknowledgement. You were the only one to fight her to a standstill.
Once you learn to take the beatings, the rest was easy.
What was that sergeant's name? A particular female sergeant that we discussed earlier? Wait, I have it written down. This shit I wrote down on paper. Yay. Captain...
Slaughter.
Berthaway? Berthany? Bridget? What the hell is this person's name? Former Captain...
I don't want to jump in right now.
No, it's just...
Can't read his own handwriting. That's classic. Classic, Jeff.
Jeff, we still love you.
My son stole the frickin' light. I got, my desk is dark in front of me. I can't frickin' see it. Anytime, Messina. What's the name?
Whichever is...
Female drill sergeant. You came up with the name. What is it?
Brittany.
Brittany? Really? That does not strike fear in the hearts of students.
It's subtle, but deadly. I don't know. Every Brittany I've met has been a complete...
Drill Sergeant Brittany. She was lethal. You sure you want me to go down this path with you, dude?
I mean, no one likes Karen.
Taryn, yeah, that's another one.
I'll use it, but are you sure? You're absolutely sure.
What's your sign language look like there? You read your note, and what is the fear?
I can't see.
Bethany.
All right. Or you're the only one that holds yourself against that woman and lasted more than 5 minutes.
I lost 5 Ds to her.
Sergeant Bethany was ruthless, she says, sort of scratching her own jaw. But her teeth are still intact. Inga's teeth are still intact.
The thing about Bethany is she didn't care where you came from. She cared about how hard you could get hit.
Indeed. I wonder, have you gone soft? I like your new outfit. It, so have you taken to wearing shiny outfits now? I'm kind of 3 people at once. Let me try that again.
Confuffled?
I know. I get a little Scottish. I know.
Own it.
I'm here.
Own it.
You're getting a little Scottish or Irish there. Hi, I'm Helga.
You were the only one. You were the only one to hold her. You gotta get that woman. Most people fought her. You tried to kind of embrace her. It was, weird to look at, but it worked. Sorry.
And yet that still turned Scottish.
You were the only one to hold your own against that woman for more than 5 minutes.
I was the only one who allowed myself to get beat for 6. All of you cried by 4. So concerned with bleeding and wounds. That's why you never accelerated.
I did state that she graduated a year behind you, top of her class.
Still behind me.
She pushes herself off the wall.
You're not a Dunneldagon.
She says, I admire your stones, but don't forget I'm on duty. And insulting a guard is an offense, especially one that's working in the palace.
And insulting a noble is even more so. Remember your place, soldier.
Can I have an intimidate check, please?
Yeah! Natural 20. Come on, do it, man.
Rolling.
I second Matt on this.
Rolling.
Rolling, rolling. Oh, man, my hopes are slowing. Oh, I got a 27 intimidate.
Okay. Her eyes narrow dangerously for a moment, one eye almost twitching. And then she looks down a little bit and says, I'm sorry, Lord Donaldagan. It is my job to make sure that everyone behaves themselves here. I meant no offense, she says, and she steps back. Her eyebrow viciously twitching. Funny, you don't remember her having, that before. Perhaps you're finally getting to the woman.
I put a hand on her shoulder. Not her sword shoulder. Her shield's shoulder. Never lose that spark. And I just walk off. If I had sunglasses, I'd drop them down at this point, but I don't have them. Thank you, Matt.
Now, we used that bit for Dr. Leth in Star Wars when he was investigating the children getting sick, so we can't use that again.
But it never gets old.
She takes the reinstatement of everything's cool between you as it is and nods briskly, and you head off. Bartholomew, your steps become heavy. Turning away from Inca was actually your best option. Busying yourself in gazing upon the minstrels, seeming distracted, you are taken back to those days at West Point.
Those aren't fun days.
Those days at West Park. You were taken back to those days at West Park.
Those are even less fun days.
Matt? Within the bustling city of Opara, the Worldbreaker Hill District is named after a famous magical siege engine of the 5th Army's exploration. It is home to many of Taldor's military officers. The Worldbreaker used to rest on top of the district's hill, guarding the western river approach to Opara. Lying next to the Senator's Hill District, the Worldbreaker was pulled out of its foundation to be used by the 6th Army of Exploration, and now only its enormous foundation remains on the hill. The scene zooms in to a very small attic apartment, leased, though technically not an officer, her astounding ability to mold cadets into proud Taladian young men has earned her residency here. Sparse and dimly lit, a woman with a large brow and set, firm jaw sits at a divan and stares into a mirror. Your good is better, and your better is best. Your good is better, and your better is best. A sharp rapping at the door pulls the woman from her disciplined meditations. What is it? I'm sorry, Master Drill Sergeant. This letter has come. Slide it under the door, man. I'm busy. Of course. The drill sergeant waits until she hears steps receding down the stairwell, rises, crosses the room, and bending down in a swift motion, snapping the letter up with 2 fingers off the floor, tears open the seal and quickly scans its contents. A sudden gasp and a hand drawn to her mouth. A slight giggle belittles the stern woman's demeanor for just a moment. Then, calming herself, she turns towards the apartment's only window, looking out over West Park. I've done all I can for him, Donaldagan. She sighs and says wistfully, the rest is up to fate. The scene pushes through the open window, out into the streets, showing a grey, drizzled day, just in time to catch the back of the corporal as he recedes. The scene catches up with the man, finally stopping at an adjacent alleyway, and addresses another man astride a horse. It's done, my lord. I've heard of graduates penning parchment to their loved ones, but never a commanding officer, let alone a drill sergeant. The young man simply raises a hand to silence the corporal. Of course, sir, it's not my plate. Congratulations on your promotion. The Order of the Dragon should be proud to have you, sir. With a nod, the young cadet, now turned cavalier, turns his faithful steed, Nagaroth, and rides back into the alley, away from Worldbreaker Hill, and towards the center of Volpara.